Welcome back to the Hot Mess to Awesomeness Podcast, a show all about inspiring smart, busy women to put their happiness at the top of their to-do list. Join your host and life coach, Dion Thompson, as she chats with amazing women who have figured out how to make their happiness a priority, and more importantly, what it's really like to go from hot mess to awesomeness. And now, on with the show.
The Hot Mess to Awesomeness podcast has always been about amplifying women's voices, about highlighting the tenacity, capacity, and resilience of women. In the early days of the pandemic, I felt compelled to speak with and support women who, like myself, were struggling to find their way through so much uncertainty. And over the past 2 years, my mission and reason for showing up has deepened to include my need to shine a light into the dark places where so many women feel alone. The women I get to speak with have or are facing uncertainties and unknowns involving trauma, sovereignty, race, autonomy, anatomy, motherhood, mothering, flourishing, and authentic living, and how they've learned to thrive through the hot mess, oppressive conditioning that for generations has normalized the debasement of women. It's a privilege. Right now, I'm shocked by what's happening in the US. I'm overwhelmed with emotion and reminded that these moments when rage wants to take over, if I want to make a difference, I must focus on what I can do and then go do it. So I'm not famous. My words will not ring out in political arenas anytime soon. But I have a voice, and today I offer it here for anyone who feels powerless against the patriarchy. Now, my story is unique, and I know it's shared by many. So, I played the role of the good girl for a long time. And if you know the good girl ideal, you know. And the constant negating of me for the good of everyone else led to years of feeling like I wasn't good enough, worthy without giving part of myself away, and powerless in almost every area of my life. I spent decades focusing on how I was failing at doing enough, pleasing enough, being worthy enough, and sadly I missed out on celebrating all the ways that I am in fact fucking awesome. And have you felt the depths of this failure? Are you familiar with that feeling? Have you endured the constant bad-mouthing from inside your own head? And like me, are you exhausted by always trying to do more? It seems never ending. You are not alone. Now, contrary to what they want you to feel, and as I say that, and as I was writing this, I was thinking about that scene in Harry Potter when Harry comes back from the Triwizard Tournament and Cedric is dead and no one believes him that Voldemort is back. And then Luna comes up and says, Harry, I don't think you're crazy, because if I was Voldemort, I would want you to feel alone because then it would be easier to destroy you. And that's what this reminds me of. The socialized belief that we are alone and crazy, and the fear that's instilled from that, and how it stops us from moving ahead. Now today, aside of sharing one of the many life lessons from Harry Potter, I want to share with you the made up, bullshit, unrealistic good girl expectations I was conditioned to believe and failed to live up to, in hopes that it helps you to define and highlight where some of the bullshit that your inner critic says comes from. So here are the top 10 good girl rules as I understood them and didn't know I was allowed to question. Number 1, do everything and make it appear effortless. You see, no one's allowed to see you struggle, because if you do, then they'll be feeling uncomfortable, and that's not acceptable. Number 2, be able to relax on a dime in case there's time left over after doing everything for everyone else. Just kidding. There will never be enough time for you. 3, be the life of the party and be humble. Now it's your job to make others happy, and if it helps, throw in a little you are less than, just make yourself look bad. People like that. Now be smart, but not too smart. People need to know that you can handle everything, but they do not want to feel upstaged in any way. Just remember that everyone else's feelings matter more than yours. 5, be pretty and put together all of the time. Now, I get it, you're getting old, but that's no excuse to look old. You'll need to buy chemicals, devices, and possibly surgery to keep yourself attractive and worthy of attention. Now, 6, be sexy, good in bed, and always ready to say yes to all sexual advances. But know that if you do, you're a slut, which of course is the worst thing ever, so good luck with that. Remember, it's your job to make men happy, but men can't control themselves, so you'll also need to figure out how to protect yourself, and again, good luck. Actually, right now, we're working on overturning Roe versus Wade to keep those of you who we deem unworthy of rising up. I mean, realistically, you're fucked either way. 7, be productive. Use every minute of the day effectively. Don't waste any time. And remember, rule number 1, make everything you do look effortless. And by the way, everything you do must be validated by someone else. Like if there's a man around, that would be great. Because if you don't, it doesn't actually count. 8, be the perfect role model or parent. No pressure. Your job is just to create and raise humans. So if they turn out to be assholes or angels, well, that's on you. So good luck. 9, manage absolutely everyone's needs, even people you barely know. Actually, it's best if you're just 5 steps ahead of everyone, and that will help with the looking effortless and make you more attractive and desirable. And by this point, I shouldn't have to remind you that everyone's happiness is your responsibility. And 10, remember to be all of these things at the exact same time. I mean, come on, how hard could it be? Look around. TV, social media. Clearly it's easy. Fuck. And if that wasn't enough, those 10 fucking piece of shit rules, the old white men looking to preserve the oppressive good girl rules followed it up with this nugget of hot shit. Oh, you want to complain or disagree with the supreme rightness of all of these long-held and wildly popular beliefs? Sure, go ahead. We know how to deal with that. We have enough power to make it so that the entire world will shame and reject you, even the people you think love you, and will make it so that you feel sad and alone forever. We've lived with these truths for a long time, and it wasn't until I found the courage to shine a light into the dark corners of my life, brought them each forward, these rules brought them forward, and really started to question their validity. I learned to see how fucked up and oppressive they really are, and it took time. And I was thrown by how deep they were woven into the fabric of my life. My mind and my sense of self were twisted around these beliefs, like necklaces that have been all knotted and turned in on themselves. The act of untangling and pulling apart everything that was inside of that, at first it felt slow and impossible, and then finally finding and undoing that one knot that leads to freeing every chain, I was able to untwist myself from the good girl image. Now, after years of healing and reflecting, loving and learning to trust myself, I've begun to truly break free from the good girl, oppressive, patriarchal conditioning that generations have endured. I'm aligning myself with healthy feminine energy, matriarchal energy, befriending my power and surrounding myself with people who, like me, believe there is a better way. Together, we're unpacking all of this crap, and in case you haven't gathered from the defiant and gorgeous energy of this video, I'm here to remind your soul, that the good girl image you've been conditioned to accept and have tried for too long to live into is a load of made up shit. You can give yourself permission to let go of that. You're a grown-ass woman. You can choose to stop ingesting the lies we've all been force-fed, heal from the pain that it's caused you, and build a new, brilliant, beautiful life. Now is the time to focus on what you can do and go and do it. Believe in something different, something better. And you're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. Call me, message me, send me a freaking carrier pigeon if you have to. Together, we can rewrite the narrative for you, all women, and the next generation. It's time to say yes to healing and choosing to believe in autonomy, agency, and your fucking infinite awesomeness. This is how we each do our small part to smash the patriarchy.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Join Dion again next week to learn more about what you can do to go from hot mess to awesomeness.